You are watching CIOTV by Enterprise IT World, a production of Accent Infomedia.
For your query on this, right, every individual product or a service which someone is acquiring, right, it is all depending on the nature of the product. For example, you take the biggest ports, they don't care about what product is coming, where to store. So we are a city giving infrastructure. So the individual operators, individual distributors, they take the responsibility and they understand what is the demand forecast and they plan in advance.
Hello and welcome. You're watching CIOTV.live. In a series of interviews, we try to understand the perspectives of CIOs and IT leaders on various technologies and strategies that they are deploying in their organization. In our interaction today, we have with us Mr. Syed Fakruddin Albeez, Corporate IT Director of King Abdullah Economic City. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Albeez.
Hi, Nisha. Pleasure meeting you.
A quick bio of Mr. Albeez. He has many decades of experience in the technology sector and specializes in improving IT service quality by implementing enhancements in IT infrastructure and applications with significant control over IT security governance for multi-location offices. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Albeez. The first thing I want to ask you is with Omicron around the corner, what is your preparedness for hybrid work or for any eventuality should they arise? Because in the Western world, we're seeing this new variant of the virus spreading like wildfire. There have been lockdowns that have been announced in some European cities. So we just want to try to understand, how ready are you at, the King Abdullah Economic City for either hybrid work or work from home? Just wanted to understand that.
See, when you're talking about the current trend in the digital transformation, you need to be prepared for the work, whether it is Omicron or some new variant coming in the future. So last year, it was a lesson for most of the people who were not prepared, and everybody were delaying their mobility and cloud adoption. And that is when it struck, and a lot of organizations were handicapped. So if you are asking my opinion about it, because I joined this organization just 3 to 4 months ago. Earlier, I was with my previous organization where we had implemented a lot of cloud solutions, mobile solutions, because the requirement for any sales organization, it should work without any relevance to the location from where you operate. Because it all started with e-commerce. And that is the base for all the sales and other transactions which are happening online today. So we have adopted the cloud solution, and we are having our data centers and applications which are in compliant with the Saudi requirements for compliance. And we have transformed the organization to digital, because most of the people have an understanding saying we have digitally transformed. The day when you don't have a paper in front of you, that is your success. So my approach is towards automating all your processes and all your activities completely through the digital channel, right from the time the customer connects to you, showing the property to the virtual tours, the videos, all those things through the same interface, and engaging them in terms of online payment gateways integrations, and also doing the electronic contract reviews, agreements. Nowadays, the government, Saudi government has gone much advanced in terms of providing us the e-services where you can connect the customer ID and you can get the customer information based on customer consent. You can verify the address of the customer. You can do the complete KYC online. And once you have the customer information, payment, customer agrees for the property to be purchased, you can go into a digital signature. So we are already prepared. So Omicron or any new cron is coming, we are ready for it.
Right. So this is from your customer facing side where you are prepared. You've gone digital, in fact, even accepting online payments and verifying the digital signatures. You know, the city is not just accepting investments, it's also delivering services. And some of these services are also being delivered digitally at a time when people can't move around, at a time when, movement gets restricted. We've seen this happen over the last 2 years. What about the
See,
service?
for the people who are living in the city, right? We have digital applications. We have a smart city team which is totally handling the smart city applications, where we have mobile applications. So sitting from their home, they'll be able to get what they want through the applications. So the customer engagement. See, for us, it is different segments. It can be a business owner, it can be a tenant, it can be a owner. So we actually look at different journeys. So we are trying to see how we can bring everybody on board through the digital platform. So for us, the mobile apps play a crucial role in terms of delivering the services without any physical interact or for them to visit a particular location. So everything is request is received from mobile app, processed, and even call centers, customer communication, everything is done through that.
You're right. So could you give us an example? Because I believe the KSA has made a lot of progress when it comes to delivery of service through online or mobile methods. I heard that your electricity bill payments, meter readings, all of these are done remotely. Uh, they don't require physical presence of a meter person to come and have a look. Your driving licenses are being renewed online, and passport services. Many of the services have moved online. So could you tell us? If I'm a citizen, what kind of convenience do I have in this smart city?
See, the growth in the last 3 to 5 years happened in Saudi Arabia in terms of the digital growth, I can say, is significant. This is the basis on which many organizations are trying to grow and transform themselves. So, for example, you being for us, we are all expatriates. So there are applications available for expatriates. There are applications such as Tawakkalna. So in India, there is an application for the COVID they have implemented, right? So this application, Arogya Setu something is there. So something similar to that, here we have an application called Tawakkalna, and I can say this Tawakkalna has grown significantly into a bigger magnitude, where you can see your driving license, your resident card, you can see all the status of your family members, your residency validity. So they are scaling the services to the people. And earlier, when a person wants to request something for the family member, they have to go to the organization, request my family wants to travel, or you need to do everything through a person. Nowadays, the authority is given to the head of the family. He can request for all these things online. You just pay the fees, click of a button, you get the letter. Any kind of letters, you don't need to visit an office. Even for example, if you want to renew your driving license, you need to go and do a medical checkup. So the hospitals are connected to the government. They update whether the person fit or unfit. And this is available in the government system. Then you go and update the fees, then click a button for renewal, automatically your license is renewed. And you can ask the new license to be delivered to your home by a postal service, or you can walk in and collect it based on appointment. So they have done a lot of digital automations, customer journey, and this is a significant achievement, and it is actually paying a strong platform for many organizations to leverage. I can give you one more example. If someone wants to start a business in the organization, in the city, earlier they used to do a physical verification of the business, all the information. Now there are services available where you can just pay certain fees and get the insights of the business, whether he is a successful business or whether they have been having legal issues, disputes, whether do you want to bring this person or not, all these things. Even we have automated to an extent. See, most of the people have a misunderstanding that it is a company. We are a smart city. So if you are looking at the city perspective, we own a huge land. This land is bigger than Washington, D.C. So it is almost 183,000 square meters. And we have lands being sold, villas, apartments, townhouses. So this is on the property side. We also have leisure activities. Someone wants to spend the weekend or holidays, they can come here. They have a lot of entertainment activities like cinema, they have karting, they have beach activities. So multiple activities are there. We have the biggest golf course in the Middle East, and we had tournaments being conducted. So a lot of entertainment activities are there. So when you are having people coming into the city, the first touch point at the gate, we ensure that the visitor is having a permit. We issue a QR code, we capture the car plate, everything is tracked, and we also have a monitoring surveillance system. So everything is integrated. For us, you want to give the smart city experience, you want to give a better experience, we need to do all these things.
All right, and that sounds really, really good. But the city was launched in 2005, many years ago, and it is expected to be completed by 2025 because you have a target for population to be inhabiting this new city as well. Now, we want to understand from you, you're giving these digital services. It is a smart city. What about the infrastructure required for this? What is the network bandwidth? Is it reaching everybody? And is the network complete and throughout the city? Are there outages anywhere? Are you using cloud services? Are you using on-premise servers? Could you give us a little picture about the infrastructure required for
See,
the smart city?
King Abdullah Economic City is the preferred destination these days because we are, if you see, compare other cities, we are much ahead of them in terms of the city infrastructure. And we have the fiber connectivity, we have the 5G connectivity, we have the proper roads, we have the completely ready infrastructure for any factories to come. Recently, we have a lot of automotive industries are coming and starting their manufacturing plants here. The proximity to the port is just a few kilometers away because we have a King Abdullah port, and this is a very good destination for businesses. And in terms of the electricity, it's all available. Even we have a solar power equipped. So the infrastructure is fully scalable. See, when you are developing a city, you will not go and develop everything in one shot. You will identify locations where you will initiate certain development. Once you complete that, you will scale and you will gradually make the development happening in the other areas. So we have already have the residential communities being set up and they're already living there. And we are also having the industrial valley where we have a lot of industries being set. And the leisure activities, these days we are also getting the cruise ships coming to us for a leisure activities for a day. So if the destination is not suitable, if the destination does not have the infrastructure, people will not come. But today, a smart city with the proximity from the airport by the fastest train, Harmain, is just 15 to 20 minutes away. So we are the preferred destination now.
Right. So, Mr. Albeez, you mentioned that no city comes up overnight. And you have to plan for it, and you don't build all infrastructure in one go. You build in a way that allows for flexibility or scale to be brought in when required. How does this flexibility come in? What technology do you deploy so that when required, scale comes quickly?
See, when you are initially developing the city, right? We don't want see unlike other countries where when there is a requirement, they start digging the roads, digging the land. So here we already have a master plan. So based on the master plan, the core infrastructure is already built. You need to run fiber across the city. You have the conduits. It's available across the entire length and breadth of the city. So we have the complete drainage, sewerage, and water, electricity. So you can pull the cable from anywhere to anywhere, and it is easily scalable. And regarding the land development goes based on the size of the requirement. For example, if someone is interested to set up a very large manufacturing plant, and they want a very high power requirements. So we already have the infrastructure available. We coordinate with the concerned authorities for the permits, and these are commissioned in a very short period based on mobilization, based on project value. So there are certain approvals. You cannot just like that commission a very huge electrical transformer in a place which is idle or which is not being used. So there is a basic requirement is already fulfilled, and based on the requirements of the business, it is being commissioned.
All right, Mr. Albeez, what are the projects that you're working on? Could you throw some light on that? And what are the technologies
See,
that you're deploying?
as you are aware, I'm a person who's involved in the IT applications. So I have a lot of initiatives which are being seeded into the application. We actually want to make the complete journey of the people who are coming here, who are living here, into the complete automation perspective, so that the digitally we have identified different touch points. So we are actually looking at completion of this customer touch points, tenant touch points, resident, you can say different people, investors, government entities, people who are owning the property. So there are many different touch points. So we normally people have a customer journey, whether it is sales or leasing. But in our case, we are looking at automating different perspective of an individual. For example, we don't treat that as a customer, we treat them as a contact. So that contact can be cross-selling or upselling, or he may be a tenant. So we want to improve the lifestyle, city experience, and livable experience of the city. So all those applications which are going to help them in terms of a customer 360 degree. So anytime anybody contacts the call center, or he goes to a chatbot, or he goes to any kind of a unified communication, they will be able to serve the customer much better and quickly resolve and achieve the excellence in customer satisfaction. This is
So
our.
you mentioned chatbots, so I'm assuming that you're using some form of AI. That is one of the technologies that you deploy. Now, citizens generally have questions on public transport or, payment of taxes, and these are the main areas, or even traffic management, water supply. All these can be, digitally mapped, and according to supply and demand, you can then, decide what has to go where and how. So, I'm trying to understand the technologies you're using. You are using AI, right? To if there's a
Currently,
bot.
the city is fully digitized using the GIS information system. So as you are aware, GIS system is very much powerful and it has different layers. You can have a civil, water, drainage, electrical. You have more than 15, 16 different layers, and everything related to the city infrastructure is available there. Only requirement is to identify which is the place where you are currently targeting. It can be a landscape, it can be a residential, it can be a hotel. So you will need to reference this, and automatically you will get the complete know-how of that particular location through GIS. And when we are talking about artificial intelligence, I can say this is only, there is no limit. The limit is only the person's the capacity to think. So artificial intelligence is more powerful. We are employing certain projects which we cannot disclose, and this is going to be helpful for the organization and the city to identify areas where a lot of services can be delivered and improvements can be achieved.
All right. So artificial intelligence is one. Uh, are you using technologies, new age technologies like facial recognition and fingerprinting and biometrics as well? Because you mentioned that you have a lot of visitors, leisure travelers. So given the times we are when we are tracking, you're getting tested for COVID, then you're being quarantined or being tracked. Contact tracing is important. Any of these technologies also being used?
See, currently, if you see the city surveillance solution we are having, so this city surveillance solution we are enhancing, and this solution will be the next generation AI technology, where a person reaching the gate, we know from the car plate whether he is a resident or a visitor or a business owner. And then we also apply the same camera to identify the face of the person, and we will be able to do it. And this will be helpful for us to track the movement of the cars, and it will help. For example, on a leisure day, we want to know where is too much crowd is there, so we can divert our security forces or the security team to go for their patrolling and ensure that proper control is applied there. So also the behavioral analytics is also in place, which will be through the same camera. There are certain artificial intelligence techniques available. By looking at the facial expression, they say that there is abnormality of the person. So these things are in plan. We are actually in the process of finalizing those things. So hopefully, in a very short period, with a lot of new projects, we'll achieve all these things.
Great. Which is your favorite project? The project you're most excited about that you're working on for rollout in the near future?
See, for me, the most interesting part is any project which touch the customer. For me, my customer is satisfied. I have achieved my goal. For me, I need to have more customers. I need to have more visitors. So we are actually looking at automating and bringing new technology solutions in the customer journey. And this is one of the favorite, because you can keep growing. There is no limit. For example, if you are looking at sale, the sale will end when the contract is over, but servicing will never end. As long as he is our customer, you'll keep servicing them. And you will bring more and more service catalogs into your portfolio, and you will be able to serve them better. And you can also grow and also increase the portfolio in the application side. And this will enable the population in the city, and it will grow for the residential as well as commercial segments.
And how do you defend yourself from cyber thugs? What are you doing for cybersecurity? And what are your thoughts on, RPA or cloud and greater adoption of cloud, maybe a public cloud, and as well as analytics?
As you have seen my profile, I'm a qualified cybersecurity auditor. So I've qualified CISA, CISM, CIGIT, and CRISC. And anything I start, my first step is security first. So if you are not putting security in your planning initiation phase, you will end up doing a lot of changes which will affect the project design itself. So we have a cloud adoption model where we consider the secure approach. And especially in Saudi Arabia, there are requirements for governance of the data, so which we are complying with government separate requirements. And we are also in compliant with so many other technical and like security compliance solutions which are required, which are mandatory to monitor on a regular basis. When you have a city, your data is coming, and if you don't have someone monitoring it, you will not be able to take a proactive decision. So we have automated technology solutions with SIEM and artificial intelligence. This gives us the pattern of the traffic, and we identify abnormality. We understand what is the behavior of the network. So these things are already taken in place, and we already have a good control over it.
Okay, that's great. But if there is a situation where this the new COVID variant starts spreading very fast, so what are your business continuity plans? You have a system in place; it's picking up and using data and giving solutions. But for your workforce that is working, do they work out of home in case there is a lockdown? What are the services that could be impacted initially? What are your plans to ensure that there is no disruption? I'm just trying to understand what is the business continuity plan.
See, as of now, if you say close the office next 10 minutes, people can go take their laptops and they are operational. So we don't wait for an instruction to come. It is like we already enabled everyone to work from anywhere in the world. So the need for them to come to office is not mandatory for them to do their job. So we develop applications which are web-based. They can operate from their mobile. They can have a cloud technology, and everything is seamlessly implemented here with complete control and security over it. Even the devices are securely managed, and our team is ready, and they have done their best in terms of enabling the business users to operate from anywhere. So our BCP plans are already put in place. So we are ready for it.
So, Albeez, could you talk about the healthcare sector in the city? Because in case there is a need of accessing a hospital or a clinic, testing facilities at the time of a pandemic, are those also digitally aligned? Could I get information easily, and then could I have somebody come and collect my sample at home? Could I, take an appointment beforehand, tell them I'm coming to the emergency so that they're ready? Are any of these facilities also available
See,
at the healthcare center?
the city is already equipped with a hospital, and this is supporting all the people who are resident workers or investors. For everyone, there is a hospital available here. And in the plan, there are bigger hospitals also going to come inside. And the nearest bigger hospitals, if there is some emergency which cannot be handled, services are available to mobilize the patients to the nearest hospitals. So these are already available. And the hospital at the city is already catering to the tests and other things to be done. And there are certain requirements which enforce that not everyone can do the COVID testing or handle the samples. So based on that, in compliance with the government rules and regulations, we have the nearest cities where the government medical centers are available, and people approach them and get it done. And from the city's perspective, whatever services required, we are already delivering to the people who are living here.
All right. Um, Towards the end, I want to ask you about the port as well, because the port is an active one and an upcoming one seeing a lot of traffic. Now, world over, we are talking a lot about supply chain disruptions taking place because ports in some of the developed countries are locked jammed. In China, also, there are some issues at logistics centers and ports. So, at your port, do you have any predictive analytics that tries to smoothen out the supply chain or make inventory management a little easier?
See, currently the port, as you know, these are all government entities. Anything going out, coming in, these are all government customs, and they are handle all the inventories and supply chain. In terms of the smart city, I can tell you this is one of the unique city which is having an university, which is having residential community, which is having an industrial valley, which is having leisure beach activities, and which is having a port. So when you are looking at a city which already has all these infrastructures ready and operational, this is King Abdullah Economic City. So in terms of the supply chain, already activities are in progress. What is the current traffic? The supply chain, the warehouses, everything is already available. And any futuristic demands, futuristic growths, as I told you, there are automotive companies coming inside. They are starting their manufacturing plants here. So
that's what I'm trying to understand.
The size of the infrastructure required is not small, like a small company. So it will be huge. So this infrastructure developments already started in a massive scale. And in the years to come, in the couple of years, you will see big noise. So you will see cars coming out of Saudi Arabia, made in Saudi Arabia.
No, now I understand. What I'm trying to understand from you now is that, the dynamics of the supply chain have completely changed, over the last couple of years because of the pandemic, the outages that took place, your imports were affected. So this just in time was not working. People were just keeping wafer thin inventories because everything was moving fast. But now it's not like that. Now people are not taking chances. Stocking is also happening. I'm just trying to understand that do you have a good predictive analytics model which can be applied whether you're manufacturing, whether you're importing, whether you're exporting, and how do those dynamics change?
For your query on this, right? Every individual product or a service which someone is acquiring, right? It is all depending on the nature of the product. For example, you take the biggest ports, they don't care about what product is coming, where to store. So we are a city giving infrastructure. So the individual operators, individual distributors, they take the responsibility and they understand what is the demand forecast and they plan in advance to stock or release just in time. If King Abdullah Economic City is not a city, it's a manufacturing company, then I will come to your point saying that I will decide what is my supply chain plan. For me, my supply chain is demand for the land, demand for the infrastructure, and what I am going to do. So in terms of futuristic requirements, we are ready for anything to handle in terms of accommodating any big organization, any big plants all over the world. So a lot of investors are coming and we are welcoming many different investors to come and start their initiatives here. Also a lot of home investors, new buyers, residential and commercial properties are being sold. So this is a very good location for investment. So we welcome everyone to come and invest in us.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Albeez, for joining us and sharing with us the work being done at the King Abdullah Economic City. And we wish you all the very best. It really does sound like a very futuristic city, a smart city where a lot of services are being provided digitally and taking us through the projects you're working on and the technologies that you're deploying.
Thank you. It's a pleasure talking to you. Take care. Have a good day.
Thank you. So that's Mr. Albeez of the King Abdullah Economic City, talking about the projects that that city is deploying. It is a smart city and it is completely equipped to deal with any kind of situation that may arise because of the new variants as well. With that, we'll wrap up this chat and we'll be back with another one soon enough. Stay tuned to CIOTV.